Welcome to week 50 of 52 Weeks of Storytelling. Today's episode is all about your most memorable dream. And I'll get into what all of that means here in a little bit, but first I want to tell you what 52 Weeks of Storytelling is. 52 Weeks of Storytelling is a 52-week video series that of course goes over, what you can use over a year. And the idea is that you could come back and watch each video, write one page of your story, work with someone else to help them tell theirs, whether you're a caregiver, if it's a loved one, if you work in an activities facility, and really you can use these in any application. It doesn't have to be with seniors or the elderly. It could be with children or whomever. They're really great family activities, so if you're bored and you need something to do, go write a page of your story. So that's 52 Weeks of Storytelling. There is a journal that you can grab. You can find links to that in the description. There is a printed version on Amazon, and there is a printable option from Etsy as well. I have a preference for the printed version, but that's me. So in the journal, you'll find something called the Legacy Storytelling Method. Now, there is a longer instructional video that you can watch. There's a link to that in the description, and that'll walk you through exactly what the storytelling method is. Inside each journal, and really on each page for that particular journal, there's each of the pieces of the storytelling method are laid out, so there's no guessing, and it's really a great way to outline your life, each moment, each story, using each prompt. You're not limited to that, so feel free to use it as really however you'd like. So you'll find lots of examples of that on the website at www.thelegacyrecorder.com, and there's hundreds of pages of specific prompts using the Legacy Storytelling Method written out. So enough of that. Let's get into our weekly writing prompt. So this week's prompt is, as I said earlier, most memorable dream. Now, what I was initially thinking of when I came up with this one is things that happen at night. So dreams that you would have while you were sleeping. If you want to do the most memorable dream you had as a kid or as a teenager or as an adult, go for that. But I'm going to talk about dreams while we're sleeping. So I know some people don't dream. So if you don't dream, use something else. Feel free to ignore me or skip this part. I don't know. So, I like to think about the different dreams that have, I'll give you some context. So for me, I dream a lot. I dream very vividly. And sometimes they're so vivid, I actually have to double check and make sure that it didn't actually happen. Very strange. So if you didn't know that about me, now you know. But some dreams have caused me to not necessarily change what I'm doing, but it gives me a different perspective, or it was an alternate reality type thing. So those have been some things that have been really memorable for me. For you, it may be just one that reminded you of how awesome something was. Maybe it was a scary thing and you did something different. Whatever it is, but share it, talking about a dream you had. The reason I think this prompt is fun and worth talking about is that we don't go around asking people, what did you dream about last night? It's probably a little weird. And from a societal perspective, it's we don't need to have this conversation. So I think it's a fun way to open up a different line of conversation, and you'll learn something about yourself potentially and about someone else that you probably didn't know before. So that's about the weekly writing prompt. For a personal story example, I've kind of already given you that because that's how my brain works. But I actually have had some really memorable dreams where I've really remembered them, and I can still see them right now. They kind of play in my head like a movie, which means that it's really, I can go through and I can write them down and actually write the story, which as a writer, that's super awesome that my brain does that for me. So many of the fiction stuff, some of my nonfiction has actually come from dreams I've had. Which is super awesome. So I'm going to say that my most memorable ones are the ones that, of course, I remember in the morning. And I like to try to remember the ones that made me feel good. I also have night terrors and nightmares. Recently, they haven't been so bad, which is super awesome. Go me. But historically, they were pretty awful. So I have a whole process of how I work through those emotions. But that is a whole other video. So that's the end. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching this, listening wherever you are. I hope that it's helped inspire you to write something, to share something, to have a conversation with someone else. As always, I hope you have an incredibly wonderful day. And until we talk again, happy writing.